how did the complex relationship between China and the Western world begin? The story traces back to the ancient Silk Road, where caravans bearing silk, spices, and precious stones laid the first bridges of commerce and culture between East and West. This era of mutual enrichment lasted for centuries. However, the winds of harmony shifted dramatically with the 19th century Opium Wars. These conflicts led to the imposition of unequal treaties by Western powers, deeply wounding China's sovereignty. This era set the stage for a deep-seated tension that would evolve dramatically in the centuries to follow. The so-called Century of Humiliation deeply impacts China's national psyche to this day. This period, spanning roughly from the mid-19th to the mid-20th century, marked a time when China found itself under significant foreign domination. The Opium Wars were a pivotal starting point. Initiated by Britain's desire to balance trade deficits through the sale of opium, these conflicts resulted in severe consequences for China, including the cession of Hong Kong and the opening of various ports to foreign powers. As foreign footholds expanded, so too did the humiliation. The Boxer Rebellion, a desperate uprising against foreign influence and Christian missionaries, ended disastrously for China, leading to even more foreign control and heavy indemnities. Concurrently, foreign concessions carved out within major Chinese cities like Shanghai and Tianjin symbolized the loss of sovereignty, turning parts of these cities into almost colonial outposts. These historical wounds have been a driving force behind China's modern policies and its determination to reclaim its position on the global stage. In 1949, the establishment of the People's Republic of China marked a turning point. The Chinese Civil War, a brutal conflict that ravaged the country, finally came to an end with Mao Zedong's communists claiming victory over the nationalists who retreated to Taiwan. This was not just a political shift, but a complete transformation in the governance and ideology of China. Under Mao, China quickly turned inward, establishing a government rooted in communist principles and distancing itself from the capitalist West. This isolation deepened during the Korean War, which began in 1950. China's intervention to support North Korea drastically soured relations with the United States, crystallizing a Sino-American rivalry that would define much of the mid-20th century. The complexities of international politics soon led to another significant rift, this time with the Soviet Union. Initially, allies, ideological differences, and border disputes gradually drove a wedge between them, culminating in a split that isolated China even further. Mao's era ended with China isolated from much of the Western world, setting the stage for dramatic changes under his successors. Deng Xiaoping's famous policy of reform and opening up transformed China. In the late 1970s, as the winds of change swept through the corridors of power in Beijing, Deng Xiaoping initiated a series of economic reforms that would eventually reshape the nation. These reforms were aimed at modernizing the economy, reducing poverty, and ending decades of economic isolation. The cornerstone of these reforms was the introduction of market-oriented policies which encouraged foreign investment and the growth of private enterprise. Special economic zones were established, becoming hotbeds of innovation and manufacturing. These zones attracted billions in foreign investment, technology, and expertise. By the early 21st century, these efforts bore fruit in spectacular fashion. China's admission into the World Trade Organization in 2001 marked a pivotal moment, integrating it more deeply into the global economy. This move also facilitated easier access to international markets for Chinese goods, intensifying economic exchanges between China and the West. With economic growth, China's global influence expanded, leading to new dynamics in its relationship with the West. Today, China stands as a global superpower, but what does this mean for its relationship with the West? In recent years, China's ascent on the global stage has been marked by both awe and apprehension. Trade tensions have soared, with tariffs becoming a common weapon in the arsenal of international diplomacy. These economic skirmishes underscore a deeper rivalry rooted in technological and military advancements. Cybersecurity has emerged as a critical battlefield, Western nations frequently accuse China of espionage and intellectual property theft, pointing to incidents that compromise not just corporate secrets but also national security. Meanwhile, China defends its actions as necessary for national development and security, framing such accusations as attempts at containment. The waters of the South China Sea are another arena of contention. Here, China's territorial claims clash with those of neighboring countries and strategic interests of Western powers, particularly the United States. This dispute is not just about control of sea routes, but also about the assertion of national sovereignty and regional dominance. On the diplomatic front, China's Belt and Road Initiative illustrates its approach to global influence. This ambitious infrastructure project spans continents, aiming to enhance trade routes that connect China to the rest of the world. While some Western countries view this as an opportunity for economic collaboration, others perceive it as a strategic maneuver to reshape global alliances and tip the balance of power. Understanding this deep and complex history is key to understanding the current state of affairs and what the future might hold for China's relationship with the Western world.